Hey guys, in this video I'm going to compare the A5100 to the A6000 to the A6300. Now I've owned these cameras for a while now. The A6000 for the longest, A6300 for about 6 months or so, and the A5100 for I think a month or two. So this video is going to be kind of my overall practical impressions of these camera bodies. I'm not going to get too technical because I feel like that is pretty boring, and if you really care about technical specs, there are a dozen or so, 24 websites that you can go to and plug in A6000 versus A6300 versus A5100 and get giant spec sheets. So let's go ahead and get started. So here are the three cameras next to each other. The Alpha A5100 is first. The A6000 is in the middle. And the A6300 is on the right side. So with the top-down view, you can tell that there is a difference in dimensions. So the 5100 is very slim, so it's the smallest of the three cameras. And the grip is also the smallest. This is probably the one that feels most like a point and shoot camera because there's very little grip there. And if you are using a lens that's bigger than the kit lens, it is going to be difficult to maneuver and comfortably hold this camera. It is nice and compact, but I wish that the grip was a little bit bigger. The A6000 is not bad. It's a little bigger. You do have a nice grip, so you can hold it using bigger lenses. It's not really an issue. It's not as good as the improved grip on the A6500, but it's better than the A5100 grip. A6300 grip is, I'd say it feels a little deeper than the A6000, but that might be just me. The A6300 does feel like a bulkier camera, and it is. It's thicker here, and it feels like a more substantial camera. In fact, let's put all three of these on the scale just so we have a reference point. A5100 is 13.5 ounces. A6000 is 15.6 ounces. A6300 is 1 pound, 2.3 ounces. All three have the exact same kit lens. All three cameras have the exact same size sensor. The only difference is the A6300 has a slightly improved sensor. At least the technology is improved. The resolution is the exact same. For videos, all three of these cameras shoot in XAVCS at similar resolutions. These two cameras do 1080p. The A6300 also does 4K. Now, I personally have owned this camera for a while, several months, half a year maybe, and I've never shot it in 4K. But that's just because my computer is really not powerful enough to edit 4K, so that's why. So build quality, as you move up the range, you do notice an increase in build quality. So the A5100 feels the cheapest out of the bunch, but it's so small, you don't really fault it for that. It definitely does feel a lot more plasticky than the other two cameras here. The A6000 feels pretty good. I mean, it's pretty substantial. It is decently well built. A lot of plastic though, a little bit more metal, so it's fine. The A6300 is where you start noticing that quality, really. I think it's the magnesium case. I mean, the fact that there's better build materials here, and you notice it once you pick it up. And you'll also see this with the mounts. So the A5100, if you wiggle, you can see that the kit lens does wiggle a little bit back and forth. A6000 has the exact same problem, and this applies to almost every lens that you put on the A6000. The A6300, they fixed it. I mean, that is solid. There's no sound, there's no movement. So the A6300 E-mount is the best out of the three. So the A5100 does not have a mode dial, and that makes it a little bit more difficult to go in and change from video mode to photo mode. You actually have to turn the camera on, go into the menu, and then switch your shooting modes. So if you want to go from aperture priority to shutter priority to manual exposure to movie mode, you have to hit the menu and select the appropriate mode. That is certainly not as easy as moving a dial over from movie to aperture priority. While talking about the menu system, the menus on all three of these cameras are basically the exact same. You have fewer options with the A5100, more options with the A6000, and the most options with the A6300. The ones that really matter, to be honest, are just the picture profiles on the A6300. I personally use those when shooting video because I don't have to worry about going in and color correcting in post. The A5100 does not have a viewfinder. That's kind of a disappointment because the electronic viewfinders on the A6000 and on the A6300 are awesome. In fact, the A6300 has a higher resolution viewfinder. It really does make taking pictures a lot easier and better. In addition to that, something that both the A6000 and the A6300 have are hot shoe mounts. Now these allow you to mount an external flash quite easily, in addition to many other accessories. With the A5100, you do get a flip out screen, which is awesome. In addition to that, the screen is touchscreen, so you can focus on things behind you, in front of you, directly in front of you. Can you do that with the A6000? No. That's about as far as you can flip the screen on the A6000, so it's not the best. Now, if you are trying to do a top-down shot and see your screen, this will allow you to see that. A6300 has the same mechanism as the A6000. So very different. Neither one of these have touch screens. Come on, Sony, get it together. We want this flip out screen with the touch screen on both of these models. Do it already. So here we are again, difference in sound. To me, it sounds like the A6000 is the fastest of the three, but I'm pretty sure on specs the A6300 is better. Now, when it comes to autofocus, all three of these cameras have excellent autofocus. The A5100 has perhaps the worst out of the three when it comes to autofocus, but it's really quick. I mean, it's smooth, it's accurate, it's not an issue. And the fact that you have a touch screen to where you can touch and make sure that it's in focus is awesome. The A6300 does have a better autofocus system than these two. It also has phase detection, so it works better with adapted lenses and adapters. So let's talk about who these cameras are really for. The A5100 is for the casual photographer, someone who either is going to go out and vlog and wants a no-fuss camera, just something that they can take out, shoot. They're not going to mess with settings too much. They're not going to care about settings too much. They just want a good grab-and-go camera with excellent autofocus, excellent image quality, decent sound, and they don't care about the hot shoe or the electronic viewfinder. My wife loves this camera, and all she does is vlogging. She never messes with settings. She just picks it up, turns it on, presses the record button, and goes. The A6000 is the camera for those that are looking for something a little bit more premium. This is the camera that really sold me on letting go of all of my Canon gear, all of my Canon bodies, and I was sold on the autofocus, the compact form factor, the image quality, the video quality. I mean, everything about this camera is awesome, and the price point is really amazing. So this is for someone who is looking for a bit more on the feature side as compared to the 5100. Really for people who are wanting a slightly better camera for both photography and videos. The A6300 is basically just an improvement of the A6000. It offers more features, slightly better electronic viewfinder, better build quality, 4K video recording, additional modes on the dial here. You have S-Log, you have picture profiles, video profiles. So this is ideal for someone who has either used the A6000 and is looking for something that's slightly better, or for someone who really focuses a lot more on video. Now that being said, if I were to go out and take one picture at the exact same settings with all three of these cameras, you will see that the image that they produce is basically identical. Here we go, A5100, A6000, A6300. I would say that within this Sony lineup, the two shortcomings of these cameras are, number one, battery life, because the batteries are tiny and not very long lasting. For reference, this is my battery collection. And number two is the overheating issue. The A6300 recently had a firmware update that did improve its performance when it comes to overheating. So it's not as much of an issue, but really after 30 to 35 minutes, this will also overheat. So that is it for the side-by-side comparison of these camera bodies. Now I should talk about prices. The A5100, new with the kit lens, is around $500. If you're out on the used market, you should be able to pick up the body only for around 250 bucks. That's it. I mean, this is a very inexpensive camera, and that's partly why I think I like it so much, is because you get a lot for your money. Prices on the A6000 have been dropping recently. So the kit is probably still going to cost you around $600 brand new, but if you look on the used market, you should be able to pick up a camera body only for around $350. A6300 prices have not moved very much. Now the A6500 came out a while ago now, so I thought that these prices would drop, but new, it's still over $1,000 with the kit. Used, you're gonna expect to pay somewhere around $750 just for the camera body. Now, is it twice the camera that the A6000 is? No, I don't think it is. But for those of you who are looking for the better viewfinder, the better autofocus, phase detection, the color profiles, 4K video recording, and the audio input, this camera really does have a number of features that make it stand out. So that is going to be it for my practical comparison of these three camera bodies. You really can't go wrong with any of these. I'm, again, very happy I switched over from Canon, and comparing them to the recent Nikon cameras that I've played around with, there's nothing really to compare. I will post links down below if you are interested in checking out specs and purchasing these cameras. If you have any questions about any of these three, comment down below. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the likes and all the support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.